And whatever, it's the postseason. The Nets and Cavs set off the play-in tournament. Brooklyn took 3 of 4 against the Cavs during the regular season, including an 11-point win just 4 days ago. Nets are nearly double-digit favorites to grab the 7th seed in the series with the 2-seed Celtics. Boston was 3-1 against Brooklyn this regular season. The Nets loss sets up a winner-go-home game against the winner of tomorrow night's Hawks game. Winner there gets the 8th seed and would take on number 1 seed Miami Heat. Tim Legler and reporter Nick Friedel, who is at Nets Shoot-Around today with me. Nick, let's start right away with the elephant in the room, maybe, because there's no way to ignore it. The Nets players' reaction to this horrific shooting at a Brooklyn subway station right near the Nets practice facility today.
Surreal. I think guys could not believe that it was half a mile from their facility. They're looking out the window. They've got assistant coaches pointing out where it was. And guys, they had turned all the TV monitors in the facility onto the news coverage. So KD, as he's coming off the practice floor, is looking through everything that's going on, and everybody's just shaking their heads. So I think everybody within that organization is having everything that happened weighing on them a lot going into the biggest game of the year.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Nick, you talked to Kevin Durant.
I talked to KD, Max, and as he was going through what he was feeling, he explained just how much this is impacting the preparation as far as tonight's game goes.
It's devastating to hear about, I don't know the details. I don't know too many details, but, to hear the sirens out front the practice facility and see so much commotion going on outside, you hope and pray that for the best for everybody involved. I hate violence. I hate senseless violence. And, hopefully we can figure out, the details and everybody to safety and get everybody the help that they need. But it's a tough situation right now.
Life is hard enough without a maniac like this, right? I mean, KD and the Nets are it happened right there. But, there's no easy transition here. We have to talk about the game. So let's move it to the game, the conversation here. Tim, how do you view the play-in tournament for the Nets? Is it a good thing that they have this kind of playoff-style winner-go-home almost game before the playoffs? And if they lose, they actually have a winner-go-home game?
Well, it's the closest we get to a little bit of NCAA tournament feel to it, right? Now, these two teams tonight, fortunately, you lose, you have another shot here. And I expect Brooklyn to win the game. But look, if you're going to go into a situation like this, you're better off having 2 guys on your team that are going to embrace pressure. Nobody likes this environment more than these 2 guys. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they've proven it time and time again. They play their best when the lights get turned up brightest. So if you're going to have 2 flamethrowers on your roster like this, that's going to be tough for Cleveland to overcome, particularly if they're playing a little bit shorthanded. Jarrett Allen is a guy that's critical with his rim protection. You could certainly use him in a game like this, although I do think that lineup they played all year with 3 7-footers, it's so non-traditional. By today's NBA standards, I don't know you can do that much against Brooklyn because you're going to end up in a lot of bad switches on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving with either Lauri Markkanen or Allen or Mobley, one of those guys out on the perimeter. So they would have probably had to adjust to it anyway. But, man, you certainly like to have Jarrett Allen in one of the NBA's best defenses back there anchoring it. Garland's got to be great, and then they're going to have to get some unexpected big-time contribution from somebody tonight for the Cavs to win this game. But if not, like I said, you get one more shot against the winner of that Hawks-Hornets game.
They're going to have to get someone in foul trouble, either KD or Kyrie or both, right? Or how do they win this game? If those and Nick, the thing about Kyrie that strikes me, like Kevin Durant's just going to get his. There's nothing you can do. Kyrie strikes me as a guy who needs a larger cause than himself. He needs to feel attached to it to bring out the best in him. Or rather, that would certainly seem to bring out the best in him, right? And with everything he went through, he wasn't vaccinated and he didn't cave and, the whole thing. It seems to me like it's set up for Kyrie to have a big night. What's the feeling you get around the team?
That's exactly the feeling. Because, Max, Kyrie's listened to everybody say, the Nets can't do it. And the Nets can't do it because Kyrie sat out for a few months, made the decision that he made. Kevin's sitting there all the time listening to everybody saying, Kevin Durant can't lead this team. They can't find their rhythm. I think both of those guys are very motivated. And Legs, this goes to your point. They said it wasn't a Game 7, but it's a Game 6. And they feel that they need to take care of business tonight because if they win tonight, they get 4 days off before that series in Boston would start. So I think they know that if they make it happen, everybody will start to go, all right, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, they're up 3-2 and it's a Game 6. Of course, if they lose, they got to play another team in Game 7. Legs, okay, you mentioned the flamethrowers, Kyrie and KD. You mentioned Garland. What other players in this game are X factors?
Yeah, if we take it into consideration and take for granted, let's say those three guys all play really well offensively, which I think they're all going to. I think it's going to come down to some guys making some shots to take pressure off of them. Particularly, I think when you look at the Nets, Curry and Patty Mills. This is why you get a Patty Mills. 90 playoff games under his belt. He's been in this situation time and time again when he was playing in San Antonio. These are the kind of games, because you had a lot of time to prepare for this. You're going to get Brooklyn. You're going to throw some stuff at Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving with blitzes, hitting them out on the floor. The ball's going to be taken out of their hands as much as you can, and that means that first pass, that second pass, it ends up in the hands of a shooter. Those are two key guys. And then I could say the same thing about Cleveland. Lauri Markkanen has to be great in this game. And then, how about Kevin Love? Talk about a guy that's been on a big stage a lot. He's capable.
Sixth man of the year?
Just had a 30-point triple-double in like 15 minutes the other night. Kevin Love is a guy that can show up big time in a game like this. And like I said, they're going to have to make 12 to 15 threes, I think, to have a chance.
And they don't have Joe Harris's defense, but he was supposed to also hit shots, and he didn't last year. Seth Curry, though, someone like that guy can hit some shots.
No question about it. He missed his last game.
No. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me check Molly on this, Keyshawn.
We gone, man. You check.
Where do the Cleveland Cavaliers go if LeBron James ain't leading them? Where do the Miami Heat go if LeBron James is not leading them? Where do the Lakers go 2 years ago if LeBron is not leading them? Yes, you're that dude as an individual player, but your individual excellence, along with your ability to galvanize the troops around you, contributes to team success, Molly. You can't give that pass.
Right.
You can't sit up there and
AD
say
missed half the games. You just said all the issues with Russ. I'm just saying.
Under 500 and the season's not a failure? You can't say that.
It's a complete failure. And he may have been saying it in a tongue-in-cheek matter because, first of all, I'm not believing it. And I don't think anybody that played a sport or followed the sports the way we do or believing that the Lakers season wasn't a failure. So I'm not even really going to read too much into it, Stephen A. It's a failure. It's simple and plain. He knows that. He knows good and god doggone well it was a failure.
And I'm just saying that, when you say stuff like that, then the media looks bad for like, come on. And then it's like all of this. And then when you speak about stuff in the future, then we're able to look at you and with a raised eyebrow and like, is he full of it or is he real? Because something like that, if you can sit up there in front of the media and say this season wasn't a failure, why should I believe you about anything?
But you don't believe him, no, Stephen. You don't believe what he just said.
No, I don't believe what he just said. I'm just saying the audacity to say something like that. With this season of all seasons,
All right.
Come on, man. Just stop doing that.
With the team that he put together.
Yeah.
When we come back here on First Take, Buffalo